Happy Resurrection Sunday, or Happy Easter Sunday. Today we will be studying from the book of Matthew, out of the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Last week we learned about Jesus coming to town, into Jerusalem, on a donkey. Everyone was so happy to see him. Well, this week is quite different. This week is quite sad, but also quite glorious too. Jesus had 12 disciples. Those were his followers. One was named Judas, and he wasn't a very nice guy. Judas knew that there were some people who didn't like Jesus, and he knew that some people wanted to arrest him. So he thought, I know where Jesus is going to be. I wonder what they'll give me. So he went to the authorities and he told them, I know where Jesus is going to be tonight. What will you give me if I help you to find him? They said, we will give you 30 pieces of silver. Well, 30 pieces of silver, boys and girls, was a lot of money. So that night, when all the disciples and Jesus gathered for the Passover meal, Jesus said to his disciples, one of you here at the table will betray me. And betray means that they would say something against him. And everyone at the table said, oh no, Jesus, not one of us. He said, yes, one of you will betray me tonight. Go and do what you must. So Judas got up from the table and he left. He kind of told on himself, didn't he? Judas went to the authorities and told them, you will find him in the garden, and I will put a kiss on his cheek, and you will know which one to arrest. So Jesus and his disciples were praying in the garden, and the disciples had fallen asleep. And Jesus was praying. All of a sudden, the soldiers came with clubs and swords, and Judas walked up and he kissed Jesus on the cheek. They arrested Jesus and they took him to jail. Well, boys and girls, we know what happened to Jesus. They took him to jail. They questioned him. They put a crown of thorns on his head. They beat him. They hurt him. And he didn't say a word. And they nailed him to the cross with his hands and his feet nailed to the cross. And when he died, they poked a hole in his side with a spear. And water and blood flowed out. Well, they put him in a tomb because the ground was so hard back in those days, back in Israel and Jerusalem, that they would put him in the side of a cave to bury them there, and they called that a tomb. And they wrapped Jesus' body in cloths and laid him in the tomb. And on the third day, which was Sunday, the two Marys went to the tomb to put spices on Jesus' body like they normally would when someone had passed away. And when they looked inside of the tomb, they couldn't see Jesus' body. It wasn't there, just the cloths. And they looked up and an angel was sitting there and said, who are you looking for? He's not here. He is alive. And Mary ran and ran, and they ran to one of the disciples, and they were running to tell the good news, and all of a sudden they ran into Jesus, and they knew Jesus was alive. Boys and girls, Jesus is alive today. He died for you and for me. I hope you have a wonderful day. Remember what Jesus did for you and for me. Take care. Love you.